When hope is gone, undo this lock and send me forth on a moonlit walk. Release restraint level 0.
Hey kids, wanna see a dead body?
Hi guys, this is the Void of the Ravenclaw. Welcome back to another fanfiction story. If you like this type of content, smash the like button and subscribe for future updates that I do post on my community tab frequently. Now let's continue on our story where we last left off. When Shigaraki and Dabi finally entered the ancient temple, only to be greeted with a large group of Court of Owls assassins. Let's get this party started, shall we? Dabi formed a grin on her face as she turned her head to her leader, or boss, for now. I thought you would never ask. Dabi wasted no time and blasted forward using her quirk, blasting fire out of her palm of her hand, to blast towards the assassins. She's currently using her quirk, fire quirk, like accelerators, like she's a rocket. As she deactivated her quirk, as she went into a slide, she went into the slide and stopped her momentum, then immediately began blasting fire at all of the assassins in her striking range with deadly accuracy and precision. While Shigaraki calmly walked past everyone with her hands in her hoodie pocket and continued forward. I'll leave the rest up to you, Dabi. I have some wings to clip. Dabi simply gave her a nod and continued her focus on killing all of the assassins. They're jumping around, so killing them has been quite challenging. She was able to eradicate a few of them from the start, but the rest of them are hard to get a direct hit. Regardless, Dabi's having a blast. She's making a game out of this. See how many assassins she could kill in one shot. Once Shigaraki stepped into the next room of the temple, she dialed a number on her cell phone as a portal opened up, revealing the prototype Nomu. This is what this Nomu looks like. I'm only using the character model for this Nomu. I'm not going to add ability that's on the picture. This Nomu is not a high-end Nomu, but it's still special in its own way. Alpha, sit. As the humongous canine Nomu sat down right in front of Shigaraki, like it's a common house pet, wagging its tail. My orders are quite simple, Alpha. I'm listening, mistress. Good, you have free range. Kill them all. Understood. Alpha disappeared and began traveling through the temple, mowing down anyone that crossed his path. Despite Alpha being created to be modeled after a canine, Alpha is extremely intelligent and knows how to come up with battle strategies in the midst of battle. Alpha was created with several quirks: regeneration, shadow manipulation, fire breathing, and a improved telekinesis quirk. They're all copies. The original quirks are far more powerful, but Alpha has developed them over the years since his creation, making Alpha a very dangerous alpha predator basically a genetic weapon. While Alpha is tearing through the temple, Shigaraki has continued her way further into the temple, only to be greeted when she entered a large chamber as a group of talons blocking her path. Shigaraki begins to dodge several sword swings coming from the talons when they surrounded her. Shigaraki placed all 5 fingers on the ground, decaying the upper level of the surface, making all of the talons lose balance for a couple seconds. She immediately pushed forward and kicked one of the talons in the stomach, taking his sword only to throw it back at the talon that she just kicked, then bolted forward, snatching his mask off his own face, placing all 5 fingers onto the man's decay face, and instantly decayed the undead warrior. Shigaraki immediately afterward duck under a swing or a sword swing from behind and kick the talon, forcing that talon undead warrior to fall on his back as Shigaraki ripped off his mask and began to decay him, leaving only a few talons left remaining. Shigaraki bolted forward in a zigzag pattern, so she's not an easy target, and very swiftly placed all 5 fingers on one of their chests, one after another, as several of the undead warriors churn into ash. Shigaraki swiftly exited the room and continued her war path until she found herself in a main chamber where all the key members of the Court of Owls are currently located. On their way to deeper into the temple, they finally found what they were looking for. Only thing stopping her to continue her mission was several guards guarding the entryway to the main chamber of the temple. We changed the scene to Deku, as Deku is still in his fight with Deathstroke. As you see Deathstroke and Deku clashing with their own swords, making sparks as both weapons collide with each other. They only increase their speed of rate of their attacks and movements, making more sparks as Deku's ice katana couldn't keep up with the pressure. It immediately shattered. Deku was forced to improvise and dodge several sword swings. Deku continued to dodge Deathstroke's attempts to chop him in half. He created a thick layer of ice around his arm as he blocked a sword swing. With his ice, coating a good upper layer of his forearm, blocking the sword, and proceed to kick Slade in the stomach, making him slide backwards. Deku did not hold up on his attack. He immediately rushed forward and created ice claws over his right arm and hand, and jumped upwards and did a spinward slash with his ice claw, only for Slade to roll out of the way as Deku pierced the old streets of old Gotham. Basically, he dove down and swung his claw. Basically what I meant. Not sure if I described it well enough. I should have, but anyways, let's continue. Deku was forced to pull up his right arm out of the ground and dodge several gunshots from Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke. As the ice user zigzagged around Slade Wilson, using the ice underneath his feet to increase his speed, and began to shoot ice shards at Deathstroke with his left hand, and while he's swinging his claw on his right. Slade saw the attack and reflect the ice shards by making it pierce with his sword, with his katana, blocking the incoming. Let me try that again. When Slade reflects the ice shards by using his sword swings to impact the ice shards, Slade was forced to force his sword into a block formation, like a block stance, from the incoming slash coming directly downwards upon him, and began to shoot his handgun in his opposite hand at Deku. Deku immediately used Deathstroke's chest as a springboard and went into a backflip, then immediately had to make a small ice wall in front of him, blocking the gunfire. Deku realized this is not going to work, as his claw-like arm began to shatter into ice particles. As he pulled out his freeze gun out of his coat and punched through his own wall and began to fire rapid shots at Deathstroke, forcing Slade to dodge the beams coming his way. Sure dedicated this whole ice theme, but besides that, you're pretty good, kid. Freezing people is kind of my thing, mercenary. I got to admit, you're good. You're real good. And that Fox girl, she is also quite talented. The potential you two hold, and in all honesty, is terrifying. You're not even old enough to officially drink, and you're keeping up with me at this level. Most impressive. Flattery doesn't work on me, Deathstroke. You got me all wrong, kid. This isn't flattery. I'm only stating pure facts. I still have to take you to the Court of Owls, no matter how impressive you are. A job's a job, like I said prior. It's nothing personal. It's just business. Duly noted. I haven't took offense to this in the slightest. Once you make things personal, you make simple mistakes. I would never lower myself to act on pure emotion like anger, betrayal, and revenge. When they'll let your anger take over, that's when you make stupid mistakes that will get yourself killed. Don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean I'm not going to kill my enemies. They're all going to die. Just don't see the point in getting all emotional about it. You question your mortals, why you squash a normal house bug? Of course not. They're beneath you. That's a reputation how I feel on the matter. We have chatted enough. Deku created another ice katana and got into a sword stance that Slade doesn't recognize. Slade put his pistol back into his holster and grabbed a firm grip on his sword that he has currently been wielding ever since this battle started, and got into his own sword stance. He immediately got serious from the mirror aura he feels from the kid. As a crow took flight and flew between Deku and Slade, the moment that happened, both Slade and Deku charged each other, and a very intense high-speed sword fight began. Because Deathstroke is using a second sword, Deku was forced to create another ice katana in the midst of battle. Deku was having a hard time keeping up with Deathstroke, Slade was able to get a good nick on Deku with his katana on his right side, piercing his flesh as blue blood begins to ooze out. The moment his blood touched the ground and instantly frozen on contact, Deku jumped backwards while holding on to his right side of his body. Deku might be dangerous when he's using his ice abilities, and he has impressive strength, but he's nowhere near invincible. It's not like Superman, invulnerable to only certain things. Slade paused his attack. Slade pressed his attack, using his sword to pierce Deku's skin to slow him down, avoiding all the major organs. He wants to capture the kid, not kill him. He might die from blood loss, but he'll give first aid before he gives the package where he needs to be delivered. But Deku is making that task very difficult for him. Slade went into a sword swing using his sword in his right hand as a feint as he swung his left sword in his left hand upwards. Slade saw his target dodge out of the way of the initial sword swing, as he was fully prepared for that to happen, so he proceeded to kick Deku in the stomach, then headbutt him in the face, making him daze. After regaining his bearings, Deku threw some blood from his hand right in front of Slade, splashing over his face. That's his mask, basically. Forcing Slade to throw his helmet off his face to prevent himself being frozen solid as he watched his mask become ice and shatter. Deku, by that time, has lost a lot of blood. The flesh wound on the right side of his body was very deep. He's already having a hard time standing on his feet. Keeping himself conscious is one thing. It's becoming extremely difficult for him to even do that. Slade was prepared to finish the battle as he charged towards Deku to give him the finishing blow to knock him out. But his plan was interrupted by several purple arrows shooting down at him as a red beam that resembles heat vision directly hit him, as he was forced to block the heat vision with his sword, making the force of the heat vision pushing him back. Slade was forced to drop his katanas. They overheat so much he could feel his flesh burning. Huntress dropped down right in front of Deku. At the same time, he lost consciousness, finally, as Helen, I think that's what her name is. Helen. Not totally sure. It's either Helena or it's Helen. Caught the unconscious boy in her arms. Finally found you, brat. I got him. The rest is up to you. Copy that. As she cut the communicator in her ear, well, basically earpiece. She might be able to hear someone talk from far away because she's a Kryptonian, but with the communicator, it makes things a lot more easier. She could hear a verbal response in long distance. She immediately went into a bolt, flying downwards, flying directly towards Slade, as Power Girl slammed her fist across the man's face as he went flying into buildings, well, several buildings, that was at least still standing. Old Gotham is basically, it's very messed. The buildings are old and not well kept, maintained, basically, so half of the buildings are not even there. He needs a medical attention immediately. He's losing a lot of blood. If we wait any longer, he'll die from blood loss. Future note, Huntress is wearing special gloves to handle Deku's special attribute of his blood. We cut to a flashback when Huntress and Power Girl decided to follow up on a couple leads to Deku's location. They might have been doing their own thing on Prime Earth, but that doesn't mean they stopped looking for Deku. Without any proper leads, they couldn't do anything about it. The boy does up and vanish. No sightings, no information about him until today. That's why Huntress and Power Girl decided to take a trip to Gotham. When they arrived, they noticed the entire city was on lockdown. Only reason they got into Gotham in the first place is because of Power Girl's ability to fly. How reliable is that source of yours? Do we even know if this black mask you mentioned will even know of the whereabouts of Deku? Trust me. I trust him. His information has always been accurate. What little information I did learn, the little brat made quite a name for himself in Gotham City. Well known, but not well enough to know. That's probably why we never heard anything about it before, until today. Let's go. As you see Black Mask just sitting behind his desk, enjoying a well-deserved stiff drink from his personal collection of scotch, just enjoying the peaceful aura, but his tranquility was interrupted by two women smashing through his window on the top floor of his skyscraper that he owns, that he used as a base of operation for his activities. Black Mask continued to drink his drink calmly as he set the empty glass to the side of his desk and folded his hands together. What can I do for you, lovely ladies? I am quite curious who you are and why you have approached me in such a rude manner. Times has become a bit more chaotic, if you haven't already seen. Gotham is on lockdown, and some zealots organization has full control of the city. Cut the bullshit, Black Mask. I'm Huntress, and my blonde friend over there, that's Power Girl. I know you know Deku, and I surmise you know of his current location. I have a good relationship with that boy, and I would not jeopardize it. I have no intention of jeopardizing the trust I have gained with Deku, and I'm guessing by your attire, you must be some sort of hero group. Duo, maybe. Like Batman and Robin. The great Cape Crusader has a habit of picking up strays. Power Girl saw the subject was about to go towards her father, no matter what Earth. That's a touchy subject when it comes to the Huntress. As Power Girl placed her hand on Huntress's shoulder to calm her down, before things get a little more complicated. Please, Black Mask, we have history with Deku, and we simply are worried. We mean him no harm. I would implore you to give us the information we seek peacefully. I would hate for things to get ugly here, with all due respect. Normally, I would never show respect towards a mere criminal, but like you said, things are chaotic in Gotham currently. Might act nice and polite, but we both know the under meaning of your words. In simple terms, I have no choice. And I'd rather not be a punching bag tonight. I'm off the clock. I'll give you what information you seek. That's already public knowledge when it comes to the underworld. He's currently in Old Gotham. Old Gotham? Old Gotham is a old abandoned city that is directly under this Gotham. I'm surprised you know of it. Not many outsiders outside of Gotham has knowledge of Old Gotham's whereabouts, or even location. I was raised and born in Gotham. No matter what Earth I'm on, Gotham's always the same. As she said that to herself mostly, then on Black Mask. But Black Mask did hear it, and that's a very interesting remark. But no matter, ladies. That's all the information I'm willing to reveal to you. I suggest you girls should hurry. He's currently after the Court of Owls. They're a bunch of mad zealots. You just gotta look out for the people with the owl's mask on their face. They're easy to spot. They've been making waves in the criminal underworld recently. The sooner they're gone, as soon as business can continue as normal. But what I do know of this, what I do know is that Deku has formed some sort of alliance with the Bat. They're working together to take down the Court of Owls. Don't get me wrong, I have full confidence of Deku's mastery of his ice. It's most impressive once you see it in display. But he's up against a full organization that most likely has very high numbers on their side. Huntress simply shot her grappling hook out of the window. That's the same window they burst through and left. Thank you for the information. Sorry about the window. I'll see myself out. As Power Girl began to float, and she began herself as she flies out of the window. It's about to fly out the window. She was in process. So how was he doing the last time you saw him? He seemed to be pretty healthy the last time I saw the kid. That's good. As Power Girl blasts out, in a flashback, Hela placed her hand over Deku's wound to slow down the blood oozing from his injury. Hela is wearing, like I said prior, special gloves to prevent his blood from freezing her hand. Where are we going? It's going to take us some time to get out of old Gotham the way we came out of. I take it we're going to take him to the hospital? No, it would take too much time. Once we leave Old Gotham from the entrance we went into. Once we make it to the surface, we would be close, very close, to Mr. Freeze's territory. If anyone could keep him alive, it would be him. After all, on our Earth, Deku has the same blood type as Nora, Freeze. After all, Nora is his mother. Wait, I had no idea. As they continue to talk while they're moving, the old man was very friendly towards Victor. When I was a kid, Victor and his wife were good friends to the family. Of course, I would be aware of their son. I've never met him in person, but I know of his blood trait. Powers, I just didn't recognize him at first. So are we going to tell them? No, they're not aware of the brat's to a true identity. There's no way they haven't crossed paths. There must be a reason why he hasn't revealed to his version of his parents on this earth. That's not our secret to reveal. Seem to be surprised who your father is. I've never seen glowing blue blood before. At least, not from an earthling. Our girl's only one that's close to Huntress. That could bring up her subject of her father without her getting angry. They're best friends, so that comes with the territory. Don't touch it. The brat's blood is extremely dangerous. What I'm wearing are insulated gloves. The blood will freeze anything on contact if you don't have the proper precautions in place. 15 minutes later, they arrive at Victor's laboratory. You got a lot of nerve trespassing. Wait, is that Deku? Oh my god, he's injured. Follow me. Take him to the next room. Thank you, I knew I made the right decision from coming here. Who did this to him? Deku's quite capable of protecting himself. Whoever injured him this badly must have been pretty good. It was Deathstroke. I am no medical doctor, but we should have everything we need here. At least to stop his bleeding. Just be careful. Anything that makes contact with his blood freeze instantly. I'm not sure even you would be immune to that. Fascinating. I'll have to take a look at his blood at a later date. Get him on the table. It's basically a metal slab table, basically what it is. We pan to Fox. Back in Old Gotham, Fox has been shadowing Shigaraki in the ancient temple in Old Gotham as she continued to follow the villain until they got to the main chamber, while all the key members of the Court of Owls are located. She took the high ground in the large chamber so she wouldn't get spotted by the villain, or the Court of Owls. Before the two sides could collide, Fox noticed the new arrivals entered the chamber as Batman walked in with his sidekick Batgirl as chaos erupted as all three sides attack each other, with Batman engaging in close quarters combat with several Court of Owl assassins that just jump out of nowhere, while Shigaraki did the same, keeping her distance. While Shigaraki is keeping her distance from Batgirl and Batman. Shigaraki saw a brief opening up as she charged past Batman and Batgirl, past a small group of assassins, as she finally reached her target and touched one of the key members of the Court of Owls and decayed him. Then immediately afterwards, the rest of the High Council of the Court of Owls panicked and began running in all different directions. Damn it. As she scratched her neck, irritated that she has to run after him now. Before Batman could do anything, several ice kunais come flying downwards, hitting several of the assassins in the skull, killing them instantly, as a girl jumped down right behind two of the members of the High Council of the Court of Owls, as she ran her sword through the woman's back, piercing her heart. Then the man to her right The man right beside her backed up to the wall and begged and pleaded for his life, offering Fox money, power, only for Fox to chop him down by chopping off his head, without no remorse, as blood splattered onto her white fox mask. She swung her katana to get the blood off her blade, as the blood splattered to the ground. Fox immediately turned around and charged forward, disappearing for a brief second, then proceeded to make after images of herself, using magic to increase her speed, giving off a slight white glow over herself. She moved so fast and killed a good portion of the remaining council members, including severely injuring the new mayor that she met prior over a screen. As Fox slowly put her sword back into her sheath, as there was a slight click noise, suddenly Fox's danger sense went off as she dodged several batarangs that was thrown at her by Batman and Batgirl. Batman and Batgirl charged past Shigaraki and started to engage hand-to-hand combat with Fox. Fox has always been curious on how skilled this Batman. He's been trained or he was self-taught. And to have her younger brother's disciple respect, that's a feat that's not easily attained. For she would never expect to hear that from his mouth. She would never hear. She knows Deku wouldn't outright, verbalize that. But she could tell by the tone of his voice and how he words his words when he's describing the Cape Crusader. There's respect there, even though she fully is aware that he doesn't agree with his no killing rule. Sometimes killing is necessary for the greater good. Shigaraki just watched the battle that's in front of her by the mysterious masked girl that came out of nowhere and slaughtered almost all of the key members of the High Council of the Court of Owls. Shigaraki looked around the room to see a corpse missing, as one of the surviving members of the High Council escaped out of a trail of blood leading deeper into the temple. Shigaraki decided to follow the trail of blood while Batman is distracted by the new arrival, as she puts her hands in her sweater pocket and follow the trail of blood leaving out of sight of the chamber, following downstairs, deeper into the lower levels of the ruined temple, basically. They were only on the first level. There's one more level down below. As Fox is beginning to dodge several kicks and punches from Batman and Batgirl, and threw out her own punches and kicks when there was an opening between their battle stances, Fox did not talk. She only attacked her two opponents. Fox wasn't so nice to believe that Fox wasn't so naive to believe that she can match Batman's with pure strength alone, without any assistance from her magic. But her magic reserves is halfway full, and using magic like that will most likely put a heavy strain on her body, nor has she ever tested it out before, unlike she has with her speed, using magic. But with her reflex, she had no problem dodging Batman. But this Batgirl, this girl that Batman refers as Batgirl is far more limber and faster than the Caped Crusader. She's having a bit more difficulty when it comes to dodging and blocking her blows. While dodging, Batgirl and Batman came rushing in, throwing punches and kicks in a combination. Basically a combination move. Fox managed to dodge the fist, 2 attempts, then block the kick, then sweep her legs in a leg sweep, trying to trip Batman, only for him to jump over her leg sweep and jump backwards a little bit to get some distance, while Batgirl rushed forward, swinging her bow staff at Fox. Fox had no choice but to create a bow staff of her own, made of ice, using magic, and blocking the incoming attack. As the two girls began to engage into a bow staff battle, after Fox effortlessly reflects several attacks with her bow staff, simply slammed the end of her bow staff into Batgirl's stomach, spin her bow staff around, hitting underneath her chin, then proceed to kick Batgirl in the side of in the stomach, as she went flying backwards, hitting a wall, knocking her out. Fox jumped backwards, dodging exploding batarang. When the smoke cleared, she could see Batman standing in front of his sidekick in a defensive stance. Who are you? You clearly are not with the Court of Owls. You're either part of a faction I'm not aware of, or you're with the League. Batman's referring as the League of Assassins. I am not affiliated with none of those maggots. I am known as Fox, Batman. The Court of Owls forgot their place and made a terrible mistake of making an enemy of my master. They will be eliminated regardless of your actions here tonight. Caped Crusader, stay out of my way, or I won't even hesitate to cut you down where you stand. Fox threw a smoke bomb. When the smoke finally cleared, Fox was nowhere to be seen. She eventually caught up with Shigaraki. Fox instantly used the shadows as cover to watch this plays out, if she needs to intervene or not. The moment Shigaraki followed the trail to its location, as it led to a large ritual chamber with several stone pillars scattered all around the ritual chamber room. Only thing else is in the room is a large, weird-looking pool, body of water basically inside the room. As the mayor is putting pressure on his wound, if he doesn't do what he needs to do fast, he's gonna die. The sword did pierce a bit of his heart. The mayor saw Shigaraki and smirked as he fell backwards into the pool of liquid that turned out to be a unpure Lazarus pit. The moment the liquid touched his wound, he was instantly healed, alongside making him much younger. When he emerged from the liquid, he gazed at his young appearance. Perfect. I'm back at my prime. As the mayor jumped out of the pool of water, or got out, and started laughing, as he proceeded to throw several fireballs from his hands by using magic. He's been around a long time, using magic to prolong his life. But he never thought he would ever come across a Lazarus pit out of nowhere. He knows the League of Assassins has one, but he can never get close enough to that. Mayor is fully aware this Lazarus pit most likely is not as powerful as a Lazarus pit that the League of Assassins has access to, forcing Shigaraki to roll out of the way, dodging the fireballs, and hide behind a pillar that's in the room. As you can see, several fireballs flying through this room, passing through several pillars, including the one that Shigaraki's hiding behind. As Shigaraki leaned against the pillar, while fireballs fly past her. You know, little birdie, you made a grave error going after Sensei. Her little organization can't stand the full might of the League of Villains. I don't know what's going on, but enjoy your youth while you have it, because I'm going to kill you. Slowly. That's not a threat. That is a promise. Because you decided to take over an entire city, interrupting my personal time with my games. For that, you're gonna suffer. Make me come all the way down here. If that wasn't bad enough, you idiots decided you'd try to off Sensei. And I could have told you that was a terrible mistake. People that make enemies of my Sensei don't stay alive for very long. Threaten me, girl. The mayor picked up the cane that he had in his hand when he was dragging himself out of the room before he de-aged himself, before he got younger, and grabbed firm on the handle of the hidden sword inside the cane and pulled out the blade to run her through the moment she becomes visible. It's no mere threat, you average NPC. You're not even the main boss, even if you are somewhat a mini boss. If you're lucky, that just means you're weak. Shigaraki went out of cover and began charging towards the mayor while dodging fireballs being shot at her, as she's using her speed and the pillars to dodge the fireballs and get closer and closer until finally she got close to her victim. Shigaraki wasn't expecting to get kicked in the stomach as she went into a backflip and land on both of her feet. She immediately had to dodge to the side from a fireball being shot at her. When Shigaraki got into a grapple range, she thrust her hand forward, tried to place all 5 fingers on his skin or his clothes, only for the young mayor to grab onto her wrist and extend his hand outwards towards Shigaraki's face as a slight magic circle formed over his palm, between Shigaraki's face and his palm, basically. Face the fact, girl. Game over. You lost. Now die. When the two were too occupied with each other, Fox deftly approached the mayor from behind and thrust her sword into his back as the blade exited through his chest, piercing through his heart. Seeing that, Shigaraki acted on instinct and grabbed onto the mayor by the face and began to decay him. She figured that pierced his heart, but she can make what time he has left very painful. The mayor begins to scream out in pain as Shigaraki slowed the process of the decay, so she can make this hurt for the man. She could easily kill him or let him die by blood loss, by his heart being pierced, but she wants him to suffer. She's been amazed the man still, talking and breathing while his heart was pierced by a sword. She didn't care. Fox roughly pulled out her sword as she stepped backwards to get some distance from the older girl in the slowing, decaying man, as she could see the smile on her face while she's decaying him. As Fox disappeared into the shadows. Several hours later, you can see Deku in bed, as his healing factor was accelerated, as his wound is stitching itself back together until the wound was completely gone, with no marks on scars on his skin. His regeneration becomes more efficient when he's in cold climate areas, cold temperatures. It has to be at least in a freezing ratio before to supercharge his regeneration. Power Girl and Huntress left Deku at Mr. Freeze's place, basically in Mr. Freeze and Nora's hands, while they help out with stopping this chaos, what's going on in Gotham City. Not knowing that the Court of Owls are pretty much in disarray from their members being brutally killed. While Deku was recovering in one of the spare rooms at the lab, she was looking through a microscope at the sample of Deku's blood that she extracted for him. As she tests the blood through several different machines, Nora is standing in a crossroads. Ever since she met the boy, she's always been curious about him, where he came from, who he is. She could easily run his blood sample through the computer to find a match, but yet she could just forget about it and go about her day. But at the end of the day, her curiosity got the best of her. And there's been something nagging at her. She's thought about Deku has came to mind several occasions ever since she met him. She had worried thoughts about the boy. He's not really doing what line of work, what type of life he lives is very dangerous. She couldn't help but worry. Doesn't understand why she's so concerned about his well-being, but she couldn't help it but feel motherly towards the boy. She made up her mind and run his blood through the DNA through the database that Victor has access to in his laboratory. That's connected to couple hacking jobs for Victor, and he has full access to the database that all the police use. And it finally came to a match. When Nora clicked on the file, her eyes widened as a picture of her and Victor showed up. She could tell by the genetic structure that the results meant that he is her child, that they're clearly related, but it doesn't make any sense to her. She's never had a child. Just brings out more questions. By the time she was done thinking or trying to wrap her head around this, the door opened up as Nora shut off the monitor and downloaded the results in a flash drive as Victor walked into the room to check up on his wife. How's Deku been doing? He used to be fine. He's resting in another room as we speak. I notice he heals a lot more faster when he's in cold climates. I know that look, Nora. What's wrong? It's nothing, husband. As she gave him a smile. She can't think straight. She didn't mean to hide it from her husband. Until she knows for sure what's going on. I mean, she's never had a kid with Victor or anyone else. But the evidence don't lie. So she decided, then and there, she'll get to the bottom of this. She wants to know where he came from. First thought that came into her mind was someone stole her husband's DNA and in herself and created an artificial human in a laboratory. But she's not entirely 100% sure about that train of thought. She needs to learn more. She's fully prepared to investigate this more before she reveals anything to her husband. Shigaraki and Dabi did reunite and began to ascend to the surface. Exit through the secret passageway. As they began to travel through Gotham City, tried to locate their crazy blonde. Speaking of the crazy blonde, as you can see Toga in a large structure like a building, covered in blood, looking at a piece of paper, starting to check off locations, like she just got done shopping what she wanted from the local grocery store, like it's a checkoff list, with a smile on her face, humming a catchy tune. As you can see, several members of the rich population of Gotham tied up and gagged on several chairs, glaring at Toga. As you can see, several corpses of the League of Owls assassins scattered all around the room. Blood on the wall. Toga is just checking things off her list while humming a catchy tune. Toga side glance at her captives, all tied up and secured like a neat little present. Don't give me that look. You played well, but you ultimately lost. One of them managed to spit the gag out of his mouth. If you're just going to kill us, do it. Oh, you, my sweet, naive little toy. I have no intention of killing you. That would be doing you a service. You're not getting out of this that easy, moneybags. You're going to wish I killed you. Trust me. The stuff that's going to happen to you is made of nightmares. Toga formed a grin that looked like it was about to split her face. After all, the good doctor do need healthy test subjects. Shigaraki entered the building, seeing Toga. There you are, Toga. We're done here. We're leaving. A portal opened up after Shigaraki made a quick phone call. As she turned her head towards Toga and Dabi. I'm guessing those are your prisoners, judging by they're still alive. I'm guessing they're test subjects for that crazy doctor. That's correct. Apparently, the good old doctor approached me before the mission and asked me to bring a couple of test subjects from Gotham, that's non-powered ones. Odd request, but it was easy to accomplish after all. And he gave me good incentive to do it. He promised me a really neat set of knives by doing his dirty work. Where's Alpha, by the way? He's staying in Gotham. I gave him direct order to stay out of sight for now. I'm trying to scheme up a plan when I finally sick Alpha onto Deku, so we can finally see how powerful he really is. I take it your mission went off without a hitch, Shiggy? It went well enough. Apparently I had some help by some girl wearing a kimono, was wearing a fox mask. If it wasn't for her, it probably would have took a lot longer to kill him. But I also found something interesting. when I was down there. Sensei would be most interested in this. As she pulled out a small vial of liquid that came from the unpure Lazarus pit. Pause. I don't know if you take the water out of it, it has the same effects. I know it's not like it's a vial. You're not going to return some of the dead with it. But in this, let's just say because it's unpure, it decays after a while. It becomes ineffective if you take it out of the pool with the rest of the pool. I'm not too familiar with the Lazarus pits outside of what it does. Let's get it back into the story. What's that in the vial? It looks pretty. It is the key to get Sensei to his prime. As all three villains disappear from Gotham, that's where we're going to cut it. Hope you guys have a good night and day, judging by time zones, and I'll catch you in the next video.